Hey guys, Omni here. Just got back from seeing Scott Derrickson's The Black Phone. This film was based on a short story of the same name, written in 2004 by Joe Hill. It stars Ethan Hawke, Mason Thames, and Madeleine McGraw as the three primary lenses that we see this story unfold through. The story centers around a town that is plagued by this kidnapper who keeps scooping up children, and their fates, their whereabouts are left unknown until our character Finney gets scooped up, who's played by Mason Thames, and does a phenomenal job. His sister, played by Madeleine McGraw, does her best to try to help the police, try to find her brother, and of course Ethan Hawke is the grabber himself. And this film is just haunting. It's chilling because these things do happen. This isn't like an It situation or, you know, The Shining, where there's this ghost or this creature or this thing that we can't touch or wrap our heads around that is doing this. This is human evil at its core, and it is chilling and brilliantly performed and paced. And this does dip into some supernatural elements of this, as Mason, or Finney, played by Mason, is trapped at this unknown location where all he has is a bed, a window, and this disconnected black phone on the wall. The longer he's there, the phone starts to ring with the voices of the previous victims doing their best to share the knowledge they gained while they were here, to pass that on to Finney to hopefully increase his chances of surviving, bringing meaning to their deaths. And it is emotional, man. It really is. Mason does a phenomenal job playing this kid and going through all these different things. He's definitely a character you're going to be rooting for, like well beyond just the circumstances that he's in, both in his life prior to capture and the time that he spends in there. You're definitely he's one of those characters you just definitely want to see succeed in this. And his sister is played wonderfully by Madeleine McGraw. She's definitely a scrappy little character who plays a huge part in how this story unfolds, and I think she did a brilliant job. She's feisty, she's energetic, and she's just a strong, compassionate angle that we get from this, especially when you're seeing both sides of this. You know, Mason's attempt to get out while she's trying her best to find him, and like those parallel stories as we're kind of seeing them run side by side throughout is just expertly crafted. And Ethan Hawke is haunting, chilling, and I think this was actually finished recording before his time in Moon Knight, because I was watching an interview with him, and this was his first, or at least to his mentioning, his first role playing the bad guy, a villain. And like hearing his perspective on it was really interesting. He was talking about how comparing, like, you always have these characters who are these actors who are well known for so many other things, but the moment they played like a villain, and he cited, like, you know, Hannibal Lecter with Anthony Hopkins and Jack Nicholson with The Shining, how after that point it's hard not to see them as those characters. So he just felt like he held off for that for so long. Though I don't know if this is going to be one of those villains that everybody's going to be like, oh, Ethan Hawke, oh, he was the grabber, or anything like that. Though it is an iconic look with the mask, with his presence, with his demeanor, and just the vileness of this character. Who knows? We'll have to see how time plays out, but I think he might be safe from that curse. I still see, you know, Ethan Hawke from Sinister. I saw Ethan Hawke from so many other things, Predestination. You know, I think he's safe for now, at least, until maybe a later date. But Mason Thames and Madeleine McGraw, this entire cast and the supporting cast in general, I don't want to go down the entire rabbit hole of everybody else that's in this movie. There's not a weak link throughout the film. I think all the kids who played these ethereal voices, and some of which we actually see glimpses of in the trailer throughout. You know, we see their presence lived in. We get a little bit of what happened to them as well. All beautifully done. There's only like 2 jump scares in here, and one I would barely call a jump scare. I think there's only one true jump scare in it that I can at least recall at this moment. The rest of this movie is just atmosphere, tone, human dread, and the human condition, and this desperation for survival and continuation and love. And I think those things all kind of shone through in here in a really beautiful way. And I gotta say that there's only like 1 or 2 elements in the movie that I felt like were a little distracting, or felt like just popped away from the tone. There's one character in particular which was in the short story, and they kind of amped up that role a little bit, and it was just kind of like, I don't know, it was a little distracting, it was a little weird, a little hokey. When you've seen the film, you probably will know what I'm talking about, but it did seem to just kind of distract from everything that was going on for a little bit, as well as a couple other sequences here and there. But overall, I think this movie flows really well. I think it really just kind of hammers home the desperation and the terror that is in this moment. But at the end of the day, it's got this energetic, hopeful, inspiring kind of coming of age tale that is centered and sandwiched within these plots. And it's just, I don't know, I found myself really enjoying this movie by the end of the day. Is it perfect? Not necessarily, but I think this movie was brilliantly directed, acted, and other than a few things I personally would have trimmed out of this movie, I think it was a brilliant return to horror for Scott Derrickson, and it definitely has me intrigued to see, you know, what his next film or what his next project's going to be. I mean, it's the second time working with Ethan Hawke, so they're establishing a relationship there, and I'm curious to see how that also evolves. Maybe we'll see them pair up for more stuff down the line. But guys, what did you think of the movie? Have you seen it? If so, sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Feel free to join us in our Discord. We'll talk about it there as well. Links to that in my social description box below. Follow me in each and every one of those. Before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends: Manny Sherritt, Jason Coleman, Philly Vane, Yori Korskov, Margaret Grace, Mary Bradley, Melita, Robert Aguiano, and Calcastus Nation. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. But that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.